The Fujicast is an independent Loading Zone production.
At the start of the show, we always like to try and find something just to meander about. What do they call it in musical terms, Kev? Where you riff with your noodle. That's what they call it. Noodle. I went to I photographed a wedding, it's a good few years ago actually, where the vicar brought out a guitar and he noodled his sermon. It was brilliant. That's the sort of thing that I would imagine happens in your church, because you have quite interesting people, don't you?
we have, well, I suppose every church has interesting people. I'm not sure noodling would be... The demographic of my church is generally reasonably old people.
What do you call old,
from
though?
the Cotswolds.
What do you call old, Kev? Old from the Cotswolds?
I would say the average age of the Sunday Mass that I go to is probably 65 plus.
Oh, well, you bring the average age right down, Kev.
I do, yeah, I do. Me and Rosa, bless her.
Did old Rosa goes along? Oh, she brings it down even further then.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. You are now some...
I can't imagine too many of them noodling. The choir maybe might do that.
Well, I don't know, Kev. It worked really well. I quite like... I wrote a reflection piece recently for my other little podcast. And it was about the vicar. I loved the vicar that we used to have, called Becky Bevan was her name. And she one day got up, it was Harvest Festival, Kev, and she got up and she said, "I can't be bothered." And the entire room went completely quiet, because it was a bit like yours. Everybody average age, a little bit older than we are, Kev. And she did this thing about how people sort of lost their mojo. I thought it was an inspired one, Kev. I really did.
The Fujicast.
I like it when vicars get quite a little bit different with their sermons. Otherwise, it's all a bit.
We really haven't got anything to talk about, have we?
No. How's your keep fit thing going, Kev?
Yeah, all right. Lost a stone.
No way.
Yeah.
What, since New Year?
Yeah.
That's 14
Only another 5 to go.
It's not that much, Kev, surely. Oh, well, really? Well, how many kilograms is that? I can never... You do things in stones, I do things in kilos. Let's ask Bob. How much did you want to lose, Kev?
Well, I've lost 7 kilos. I think a stone is about 6.5 kilos, isn't it?
Really? How many kilos in a stone? Bob says, yeah, you're right, 6.35. Oh, good effort, Kev.
Yeah.
Go
so
Kev.
I want to get back down to my black belt when I got my black belt weight.
You're going to be a lean, mean fighting machine again, Kev.
80. I still got another. I don't know, about 15 kilograms to go.
Only a small bit then.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Should do that by this afternoon.
Yeah. well, welcome to the Fujicast. You and your questions that you've sent in to click@fujicast.co.uk, and also through the Facebook, which has been updated now, so it does at last say 2026 again, doesn't it? Have you done for questions this week? I've got a few emails that have come in, which is good.
Yeah, we've got questions. Good.
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 Right, Nanto Sealands. I'm just going to find his. So I've got a question waiting. Otherwise, it's all stuff from my doctor or the accountant, Kev.
Two least favourite people.
If I was really rich, Kev, really, really rich, I mean, unfathomably rich, so rich that I could help you at last finish building that wall around Malmesbury so you're all cosy and snug in there, I would hire an accountant, and I'd say, I appreciate everything you do because you're very, very, clever professional. I do figures, occasionally come to me, make me sign something, but I never, ever, with due respect, ever want to hear from you. I don't want lots of letters. I don't want emails. I don't want things that I have to sign in special vaults. I don't want any of that stuff. I'd be a happy bunny. Well, do you want to start with a Facebook one?
Yes. Pascal Diamond. Pascal Diamond says, when is the X-Pro4 coming?
Oh, God.
There you go. You can answer that.
Well, I think it's a week Tuesday, actually, Pascal, I heard. I think it's about 9:15 it's due. and it'll be sold out by 9/16. I tell you what, if one came out, Kev, you wouldn't be able to get it for a year anyway, would you?
That's a good point, actually. I don't know. Obviously, I have literally no idea. But I would say that if and when it does come, there is enough interest for it to be quite a difficult thing to get hold of at the beginning. Unless what they're doing is making them right now, making millions of them.
Well, that would be a dream, wouldn't it? I do wonder why. I know we've talked about this many times. Why it's not been released? Why it's not part of the roadmap? Why we're seeing these other? Well, we talked about it on the Patreon pop-up, didn't we? What's that funny new thing called? What was it? The video block brick thing.
Oh yeah, the Instax Eras video camera.
No, I know Instax is not necessarily it's not really part of the camera roadmap at all, is it?
Well, they're still under digital imaging department, but then they separate out a little bit.
Yeah,
under that,
and we didn't really understand what that was about. We can't. You kind of did. You thought, well, that's going to be handy for the TikTok generation. But are they confusing things, and is all the R&D going into that sort of stuff, and not an X-Pro4? Yeah,
exactly. So who knows? Who knows what's going on? I have literally no idea.
Nanto Sealens. Oh, he says pronounced like Sealens. Oh, there's not an ENS on the end when you pronounce. We've been doing this wrong all this time.
Another million trees have died because of those silent letters.
Yeah.
Unnecessary things.
Hello again from down under. We're currently trying not to burst into flames here in Melbourne. Forecast, when he wrote this in the other day, 44 degrees C. That's 111.2 Fahrenheit. Some of the parts of the state will get to 48 degrees. In an attempt to stay cool, I've decided to sit down under the air conditioning and send you a question. I am wondering how you keep track of your inspiration. With so many sources of inspiration around us, Instagram, YouTube, movies, and the World Wide Web, to name a few. As a presenter I listen to calls it the worldwide wait, he calls it. When I find something that speaks to me, I might save a post in the app, but keeping a track of it all gets a bit messy. Particularly as an amateur who's trying to find genres and styles that I enjoy photographing. So I'm looking for something to collate all the media I find. Any ideas?
Well, the way I do it, I think, is pretty straightforward. I have a favorites folder in my Google Chrome browser.
Yeah.
And under there, I've got different folders, and one of them is inspiration, and under there is photography, then there's business, then there's judo, and I just pop them in there, and that's connected to my Google account, so it comes up on my phone and my tablet and microwave and pressure cooker and fridge and everywhere else that they want to.
Do you ever go in and have a purge? Because I know that if I looked into my favorites now from on the web on my browser, I would be seeing stuff in there that I put in there probably back in 2014, 2015.
All the websites I have in there now want me to upload my age verification.
Yeah, were you all right on that one, Kev? I was speaking to a friend of ours the other day. He says he's not going to age verify. Is there a reason for not age verifying? I always thought if you don't age verify, does it? I don't know. Does it look?
Well, how? So do you understand why I said that?
No.
Right. So. Okay, so we're going to have to go down a bit of a slippery slope. So in the UK, you now have to age verify if you go to any naughty websites.
Oh.
Right, so you have to upload, I don't know, a passport.
No, that's not everything, because I think on some social media or some. He was talking about social media. Yeah.
I'm talking about naughty websites.
Oh no, he wasn't. Just to make this very, very clear.
My bit of humour has fallen flat on its face.
Yeah, sorry, Kev. It's very hard to recognise your comedy acts sometimes.
I'd have no problems age verifying for something that was legit.
Yeah.
And needed. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'd love it. I would absolutely love it if they age verified Facebook and all of that kind of, and properly did it, because, it would the bots would go away and all of that kind of stuff. I think it'd be great. I mean, I long ago deleted my Twitter account and threw it at the wall and stamped on Elon Musk's face when that went. But that was an awful place. And if they just had very simple verification on there, could have got rid of all of the diatribe of terribleness that was on there.
But I'm not sure that it works anyway, does it? Age verification? Because I said to our Thomas the other day, he's still 15, 16 in June. And I said, oh, look, we might be getting the same rules that Australia are getting, that you can't look at social media until you're 16. He says, it doesn't matter. It's always thought I'm 28.
Yeah, because all he has to do is tell them at the moment. Yeah, but in the future, well, the way they've done it in Australia, I'm absolutely sure there's ways of getting around it. But the way they've done it in Australia is that, you have to give them your copy of your whatever social security number or whatever it is over there. They've done it properly, and that's the problem. I think is that if no, I'm not saying, by the way, that under 16 shouldn't have social media. I kind of don't agree with that, but. If you go down the implementation of the naughty websites that they've done in the UK, then it's a law, but it's a law that's presumably really difficult to implement because it's I think I understand from what I was. There's an article on the BBC News. This is what I was talking about. I was reading it this morning. Yeah. And the mainstream naughty websites, whatever they are.
I'm just looking at the BBC now to see what one you mean.
Have all fallen in line with it,
right?
But that kind of industry is a bit salubrious, isn't it? And so a lot of it exists in places that just horrible places of the internet, and so most of them are just not doing it, and it's an unmanageable thing. But yeah, I mean, I generally, overall, I think more accountability on the internet is an important thing. Absolutely. And, I wouldn't be too adverse to them, saying, yeah, you've got to upload your ID for, websites that are for 18 years and older or whatever. Now, of course, you're going to get a complete backlash to that saying, well, what about freedom of speech? I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. You can have freedom of speech, but if you want to say things behind your hidden face, then what you're going to say is not really free, is it? It's just malicious.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. But I absolutely 100% understand there's a counter argument to it as well.
Which ones of the social media platforms then would you not have wanted or actually stopped your kids from going to? Because from a very early age, Thomas was on Instagram. And although I don't think that's the that's the nastiest part of social media by a long stretch, even though comments can sometimes be cruel. My Instagram. I think the kids are on that definitely. Although Albie doesn't use it, Rosa does. But my kids have never had TikTok, and not because I think necessarily it's there's all bad things on there. I mean, I don't know because I've never been on there either. But just because I don't want them to turn into zombies, scroll. Yeah. That's what I didn't want to happen, and so they've never been on that. And I believe them, and they still they never say to me, "Oh, you should have seen this on TikTok." So they just don't. They've never had it, and hopefully it will pass them by. TikTok. I didn't know this till yesterday. Or get with it, Grandad. You're going to say it was Chinese owned. I did know that, but I didn't know that TikTok is not available in mainland China. so it's all sent to us, Kev.
No, well, absolutely, and also gambling is illegal in China, which is bonkers when you think about all of the gambling companies that are are promoted from it, and and the amount of gambling that happens from Chinese kind of shops and things like that is massive, but it's actually illegal in China.
Yeah. So anyway, where were we? Any other places you keep your you keep stuff logged? I do actually, Nanto. I use Notes. So you wouldn't use Notes, would you? Because this is an Apple thing. So I use Notes, and that's I used to use Google Drive, which I loved. Not Google Drive, Google Keep, which I love, but they don't do it anymore. It's not supported anymore, which is a shame because that was a really nice, for a photographer anyway, really nice looking place as well to store pictures and ideas and thoughts and streams of thoughts. So I use Notes, which is a bit more sort of text-based, which is not quite so exciting, but I use that. And I still actually use an old-fashioned way of recording my thoughts into a dictaphone. And then I used to then sit down and and write them all out, but I don't need to do that anymore because you just have it transcribed for you these days, don't you? And I use Good Tape. Good Tape is the one that I use.
Microsoft OneNote is an excellent app, by the way. If you want it on your, like I have it on my tablet, and it's amazing for for basically loads of things. And you can scroll on it, you can copy links in, you can embed videos, and that's a really, really good application.
So I wouldn't use that one, but that's a good one, is it?
Yeah, that is a good one. But generally for kind of web browsing stuff, I just dump it into my favorites, and there we go.
If you're looking for transcription services, by the way, some people don't like transcription services for then publishing and using it, scraping it and using it in other places. Good Tape is not one of those. It doesn't publish your work or use your work elsewhere. So if you are looking at things to transcribe your thoughts or stuff you record, then Good Tape is that one. Right. Thank you, Nanto. Your turn, Kev.
Jill and Rob Owen, both of them, must have sat down and typed this, one letter at a time each. With speculation about the launch of an XT6 this year, what are your thoughts about new versions of the XH2 and XH2S? Are they likely to come this year, if indeed they come at all?
I think you now need to recognise that Kev doesn't know. So anything we say... Well, I don't know, Kev. You've still got very good friends. There's just a chance of they're saying, "Here, Kev, have you heard about the XT6?" Isn't there? No?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I don't, honestly, I'm not involved in any of that. So, no, I genuinely have no idea about any of it. I am well and truly on the outside of that circle. But however, I can still have opinions on it. We might... my gut feeling is that we might see the updated XH camera before the XT6.
Why do you think that? What's your gut feeling based on?
Because the XH2 and XH2S came before the XT5.
Oh, okay.
If you remember rightly. Yeah. Now, putting a little bit of a kind of quandary on that, the XT4 had already come and the XT5 came, reasonably quick after that. And in between, they kind of sandwiched in the XH2 and XH2S. Now, whether they stick with that or not, I have no idea. But I think personally, they should concentrate all of the speed stuff into the XT range,
right,
and then have the hybrid stuff. Now, they've got the XH2 and the XH2S, right? And XH2, the H stands for hybrid, XH2, and the XH2S is for speed. So that had the smaller sensor, but was faster buffer and all of that jiggery pokery. I can't see them making a XH. Using that paradigm, I can't see them making an XH3S with the XT5 sensor and the XH3 with whatever sensor comes next, assuming it's not going to be much bigger than the 40 megapixel one that we have now.
Right.
Just because of physics and all that jiggery pokery. So I think there's a little bit of, there's certainly an unknown about it in my head. But, if tradition has it, I think the XH2 or XH3 stuff might come before the XT6. But I think potentially, if I were them anyway, I might think about just merging the XH into one hybrid video stills kind of camera, which potentially won't need the newer high-speed sensor, etc., and keep that for the XT6, X-Pro4, XM6, and whatever comes thereafter. No, I don't know is the answer.
It sounded to me like Kev knew a lot more than he was suggesting.
I don't know anything.
And Kev's gut reaction these days, you better get your letters in quick on this one and mails and stuff in, because his gut's getting smaller. So he won't be able to do much of a gut reaction when he's a lean, mean fighting machine in a couple of months' time. You're going to look great for when you go for your, 150-week holiday in Spain this year. Kev is going. Kev is, I would go as far as to say he's practically emigrating this year. You're going to be gone a long time this summer, aren't you?
Hopefully, if I can get all my chickens in a row.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a bit of an extended period of time. But yeah, we'll see. It's still a bit of an unknown at the moment.
I told Sam this.
For a start, I haven't got a passport right now. So.
Right. Well, you do need a passport. That's quite important when you go travelling places, Kev. The days have gone when you can just say, "I am Mullins," and they let you in. But I was saying this to Sam yesterday. She said, well, the family going out? I said, I think they're only going for 2 weeks of it. I said the rest of the time he's got Dodgy Dan and Perfect Pete and all the other names that you have in your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a boys' party out there.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
No, the family will be coming, and Rose is on her A-level year, isn't she? So she's going to be traveling around Europe and popping in, and friends and family and all of that kind of stuff.
Is she traveling around Europe on her own with friends?
No, friends. Yeah.
I didn't mean on her own, but with friends.
No.
Yeah.
But even that's an unknown at the moment.
Minus parents. Jack's off on his first to Tenerife this year. Oh God.
Oh dear.
I'm going to spend a week being a nervous wreck, Kev.
It'll be fine.
Adam Serra has sent in a mail. Hi, Kev. Hi, Neil. My name is Adam. Long-term listener. Really appreciate the podcast. A question. I'm a photographer based... this is your favourite country in the world outside, I think, Spain. Southern Japan for the last 16 years. Mainly shooting action sports. My work has been published by Action Sports Brands, documentary work by Fuji Love magazine, and a few other outlets. I'm now looking to pivot. I still don't like that word, Kev. That to me is like a COVID word. Pivot.
It is a COVID word, yeah.
Pivot.
So it's furlough.
Ooh, furlough.
Never
Bubble.
even heard of that before COVID.
Bubble became a totally different word. I'm still finding things on the floor, Kev, when you go to places, and they're now really scratched out. But I think for the reason that they're really scratched out, those arrows and stuff, and 2 meter separation, they're now actually more interesting as a photo project, because it's almost like the history's been scratched away, but not quite.
Yeah.
I'm now looking to pivot and specifically target inbound travellers coming to Japan for weddings, elopements and couple sessions. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the best way to market to this audience. Would you recommend SEO, paid campaigns, Google Ads, AdWords, that kind of thing, Instagram, or a combination? If paid advertising is part of the mix, what kind of budget do you think is realistic to see results? There's a lot of questions here, so let's go one at a time. Let's start with the SEO. Versus or with paid campaigns. What do you think, Kev? And then we'll come on to Instagram.
Well, it really depends. I mean, you have to do research completely first before identifying any of that stuff. So, how do people who are coming to Japan to do that kind of thing typically start their investigation process?
How would you find that out, though, Kev?
Well, I don't know. That's something you'd have to do. Are there agencies? Is there agencies that organize these things? You get travel agencies that organize, safaris and things like that. Is there a cluster of hotels that are well known for hosting this kind of stuff? That's the research that needs to happen first, and then potentially approach those people. And see if there can be any kind of collaboration. But if there is, then target the SEO at those types of places, and hashtag those types of things on Instagram, etc. But it's no good. I don't believe it's any good just kind of starting. SEO. Obviously, I'm a big believer in that, but I don't think it's any good just banging in content into your website without understanding the intent of the potential purchaser first.
Yeah.
And that's where the research starts. So you really need to get a grasp, which is a cross between a grasp and a grip, of the intent of the people. Where do they generally come from? Are they mostly from America? Are they mostly from Australia, New Zealand? Probably seems more likely because that's a lot closer. Where do they congregate? What kind of times of the year do they typically do these things? Is it during the blossom season? All of that kind of stuff has to be identified, and then think about the digital strategy thereafter.
Is there you've answered this question before, but I think it's a good one. Some people might be screaming it out. Is there a place where you can find out what are the best search terms being used for stuff like this? How would you go about that, finding out the search terms that are used most often?
Well, you can. Well, there's a couple of answers to that. So first of all, there still is a great tool called Answer the Public. However, it's now a paid for tool, and it used to be free. And you could put a question into that, and it would tell you what people are searching for on Google with those questions. It would also break it down into things like transactions, intent. It would give you variations and tell you how strong those variations are, etc. Now, Neil Patel, who is a massive kind of person in the SEO industry, bought that business, and so it's a paid-for business now. But it is a very good tool. However, I always suggest people ignore all of those kind of keyword research tools, etc. Just go into a Google Chrome, or it doesn't have to be Chrome, but a private browsing window on your browser, pop up Google, and just start typing slowly what you think people might start searching for. And then Google will start populating the combo box below with the most common search terms for at the point of your typing. So if you type in the words, I don't know, elopement, right? And then space in and start typing in JAP, and then you get to, ultimately it will probably predict that people type in elopement in Japan.
Well, the ones I've got are elopement in Japan, all inclusive. Can tourists get married in Japan? Can you get married in Japan? How to get married in Japan?
No. That's not what you need to be doing. So in Google,
yes,
in a private browsing window.
Oh, in a private browsing window.
Yes, you just start typing. Right, okay. So I'm doing it elopement, JAP. Right. So I get elopement in Japan, and I do get all inclusive, and then I get visas, and then various other bits and pieces like that. So those keywords, whatever comes, it's going to be different for you, and it'll be different for me, but it will be based, because private browsing is still geography based, unfortunately. So you'll get a good idea of what people are searching for by looking at that kind of thing.
Mine was quite similar to yours, actually.
Yeah, ours will be similar, but in Japan or in Australia, it will probably be slightly different. And ours will probably be slightly different. But it's a shame, really, when Google, kind of didn't make private browsing properly private. I mean, you could use Firefox or something which is properly private, but it doesn't drive off the Google search engine, so you don't have that content. That's what I would do, and ultimately, look at the intent first. How they start their intent journey, and then decide thereafter.
Well, one of the top items that has come back is Japan elopement photos. And that is part of his question, actually, because I want to come back to another part of the question. But he said, my Instagram leans more toward Japan and ocean imagery. He doesn't have lots of couple content to post consistently on Instagram. So he's trying to work out the smartest way forward. And this, I would imagine, goes with his website as well. So he doesn't have lots of elopement photographs. So you've got the chicken and egg thing here, haven't you? Which we would have had ourselves, Kev, when we were starting out in weddings.
But
hadn't got any weddings to show.
This is an easier nut to crack, because an elopement is just two people. So you can get your friends, whatever, get them to get their old wedding dresses out and all that kind of stuff if they so wish. And even if they don't even want to get their wedding gear out, just picture them in nice clothes. And take them around to the places that are likely to be hotspots. Get your pictures, Bob's your uncle. Whereas weddings, complete weddings, I still chuckle sometimes when I go to wedding websites, and there's literally only pictures of couples and none of, literally nobody in the background or anything. Right. So they're obviously portfolio building day.
Just a quiet wedding. Just a quiet wedding.
And that's fine. We all have to start somewhere, but weddings is a very different thing, because you want to do second shooting, all of that kind of stuff. But elopement with two people, it's a bit easier.
Yeah, and spending money. Would you spend money on Instagram ads and stuff like that, or Google ads? You're not a great spender of stuff like that, are you?
I've never spent on ads ever. Not for that. I did briefly try it for my course, but it was just a waste of money. So that's the only time I've done it, and I only did it for a month.
Our friend Alistair, that was it. Was his whole business was based on AdWords and AdSense?
It was, yeah. So it doesn't mean, that's what I was about to say. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work, but you have to throw a lot of money at it. So in Alistair's case, he's a good example of working it well. So he threw a lot of money, and we're talking thousands of pounds a month at his AdWords. And he got a lot of bookings, but he was a reasonably expensive wedding photographer. So the return on investment was was good.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you want to throw thousands of pounds at it, which I think you probably have to get any reward from AdWords, then you're not, you're not earning that much from your jobs, then you're going to end up with a very, very low ROI, or in fact a negative one. So, just be careful on that. But yeah, so that the fact that I've never done it doesn't mean it doesn't work. Can work, but you need to get your pricing strategy right, and your pricing of your adverts, and also pricing of your product.
Well, Adam says, anyway, love the show. Also love how flat Kev gets when anybody mentions wedding photography. But it sounds like he's finding that spark again with his portrait work. That's true. I don't think you're terribly flat when you talk about weddings. I mean, weddings is still part of your history, isn't it? But you do your course in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Gemma said to me the other day, it was Saturday morning. I think no, it couldn't have been Saturday morning. I was at the football with RB. Saturday afternoon. I don't know, wherever we were.
My kids would now say, "We don't need all the details, Dad."
No, you're quite right. And she said something like, "Oh no, I tell you what it was.
How long is this story, Kev?
Gemma said, "Oh, we're going to have a lovely afternoon together." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds nice." Yeah. Anyway, we ended up going shopping. We ended up in Aldi, and we ended up in HomeSense, and we ended up in all of the places that I hate. And she said, "Would you rather be at a wedding now?" And I said, "No, absolutely not." And
that said something, Kev. I think Kev's deadpan style. I think that's your act, Kev, isn't it?
It's not an act.
We were a bit like. Do you remember the comedian Stephen Wright?
No, but I remember Jack D. Gemma calls me Jack.
Jack D. Yeah, but Stephen Wright, not Steve, the dear late Steve Wright that we had on the radio in the UK. Stephen Wright is I can't remember where exactly he's from, but he used to have these very deadpan lines. He'd say, "I intend to live forever. So far, so good." Stuff, and it was
I think I remember him. Yeah, he used to be on Whose Line Is It Anyway and stuff like that, didn't he?
Yeah.
I remember him. Yeah, what happened to him?
You can't have everything. Where would you put it?
Yeah. No, very. Yeah, he was very good. I liked him.
He was very good.
What happened to him?
I don't know. Right. Anyway, go on. One more question, Kev.
Probably got cancelled.
Cancelled? I don't know. I don't think Stephen Wright. I mean, the sort of stuff. I have an answering machine in my car. It says, "I'm home now. Leave a message." You can't get cancelled for stuff like that, can you?
No, I don't know. Right, go on. You'll go.
No, it's your go. That was mine. That was an email from Adam Serra in your other favourite place.
Lucas Savage says, "I am heading to New Zealand for a hike."
Ooh. Nice.
It's a long way to go just for a walk, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope you're going to do something else. And want to capture some shots of the landscape, including peaks and lakes. I've got the XF 16-50 WROIS. But I'm considering getting the older, non-weather resistant XF 10-24. Is it worth getting? Or could I stick with the lens I have and use the 16mm lens? The other option is the 14mm prime, but I think the zoom is better to get a variety of shots. I will only bring one lens on said hike.
Ooh. Well, if there's only one lens, that cancels completely what I was about to say. Don't forget to take something that has a lot more throw as well, so you can play and have fun with compression in the valleys and stuff like that. But that's irrelevant now because you're just taking one lens, and I would imagine you want it to be quite a light, wide lens. So I don't know. Well, it sounds like it's got the right one to me.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the 16-50. If you're only taking one, then that 16-50 is the one to take. However, there is that lovely little 9mm Viltrox lens that they've just released.
9mm though, Kev. Just
yeah, but it's tiny. Mm-hmm. It's really light. You can stick it in your coat pocket and not even know it's there. And that gives you, he's talking about the 10-24. So, that gives you a little bit more, just a tiny bit more in terms of wideness. Yeah. But gives you that option if you just think, that 16 is just not quite wide enough. The 9mm Viltrox lens is fantastic, and it's something that you literally wouldn't even know you had it in your bag. And it's not that tiny. It's reasonably small, but it's very light and cheap.
Enjoy your hike. I hope you enjoy yourself. I assume that he lives there or very close to there. Because as you say, you wouldn't just pop across. I'd love to go to New Zealand. It's on my list, Kev. New Zealand is definitely on my list.
Yeah.
Along with Japan, actually. Japan, New Zealand. I'd love to go back to Australia again. Oh, loads of places, Kev. Anyway, that's it for this one. If you'd like to send your questions in, send them via Facebook. How do you do that, Kev? How do you do that?
Search for Fujicast Facebook group, join the group, and at the top you'll see a nice, lovely graphic that says questions for the show here, please.
Perfect. And if you want to send them in by email, some great questions this week. We almost didn't have the word wedding mentioned, Kev. Nearly, but it was a good question anyway at the end. And then send them to click@fujicast.co.uk. What are you up to today, Kev? Losing more pounds, I'm sure.
What am I up to today? No, I'm doing a bit of coding for a little bit, and then I am going to tidy my studio because Dave Sturdy and the Long Players are coming in to photograph their new album cover later. I'm not doing the photograph, I'm just lending them my space, so I need to make sure that...
Oh, why are they not using the Mullins, Dave Sturdy? Surely Dave Sturdy knows that you are the man for this job, surely?
No, John, Scottish John does the pictures, which is fine by me because it's usually white backdrops and all that kind of stuff. So,
okay.
And he will do it, but he's got his stuff here and everything, so it's all good.
Will they play music while they're doing the shoot? That would be good.
Am I what?
Will they be playing music while they're doing it?
Oh, I would imagine. I'm going to turn my little security camera off because I don't want to see what they get up to in my studio.
Well, good luck,
40 people, pizzas, beers, and music. Yeah.
The
Perfect.
Fujicast is an independent loading zone production. Email the show with your questions and words of wisdom to click@fujicast.co.uk. Email any complaints and political nonsense to our wives, who will deal with your comments in their own good time and in their own good way.